Hey, good morning, everyone. See, everybody's on mute. I'm finally
Good
off.
morning.
Good morning. Happy Friday. What a lovely day. I'm Rose Dangerfield. I see you all most Fridays, but usually I'm not sitting in the seat of Carl. But today, y'all get to do coffee with Carl with his stand-in being Rose. So thanks for being here with us. Today is really a milestone for us here at the Chamber. It's the 25th Coffee with Carl this year. Is that crazy? 25. And it's also the first time that he's been willing to give up his morning time with you on Friday. So I promise I'll honor that and hold that in high esteem since I get to be with you. Maybe a little different today. I'm going to bring a few different things to you. And we're going to take coffee with Carl on the road to two different places in our state today. So bear with me if we have technical challenges, but it should be fun. So, couple of things. We'll start this out in a true Carl fashion. A couple of things that you might want to know or you may have seen this week. Richland School District 1 is moving to Phase 2. That's super good news. That should be later in the month in October, and that means that the kids will be back in school probably at least 2 days a week, from what I understand. If there's anyone on the call that wants to update me on that, if that's not correct, I trust that you all will let us know. But in true Carl fashion, we know that's a good thing. And we get our kids back into school. We can get our parents back into their jobs fully. We can get folks back supporting our businesses. So that's good. We're excited to be getting our kids back in school. Ted Pitts, who many of you know, resigned this week. You probably saw that in the news as the president or the executive director of the state chamber. He will be staying on while they find a transition for him or transition into something new, but that was breaking news this week. Interesting football fact. I remember not too many weeks ago that we were all wondering if we would have football this fall, but thankfully we do have football this fall. USC plays Vanderbilt tomorrow at Vanderbilt. Clemson has the Miami Hurricanes. Got to tell you, I'm not following Miami much, but the Miami Hurricanes are coming to Death Valley. Now, here's the interesting thing about football this weekend. USC, Vanderbilt are both 0-2. Both of their seasons are 0-2. So someone, for the first time, will become a winner tomorrow, which is good. I'm hoping it's USC. Interestingly, Clemson, Miami Hurricanes are both 3-0. So somebody after tomorrow is going to have their first loss of the season. I hope it's Miami. So I hope both our teams do well this weekend. It's only 2020 that you could have a football schedule like that coming up for the weekend. One political comment. One's all I got, one's all I'm good for, and that's there are 25 days left to go vote. So if you haven't voted, please do. I happened to go this week. Took me 20 minutes at I went on Gervais Street. I didn't go to the voter's office, but 20 minutes. I did it on my lunch hour, and I even had time to eat lunch. So go vote. You got 25 days. That's it for political stuff. So I'm going to take us to the coast now, which is going to be a little bit interesting to do, but I'm going to take us to the coast. I've been thinking about just what a great state we live in, and we're all bogged down right now with COVID and school and all those kind of crazy things. And I thought, let's just take a minute this morning, or maybe 8 minutes, and talk about something really exciting in our state. So I asked an old friend of mine who I was happy to make a connection with again. He's not old, but we've been friends for a long time. I'm David Lucas, who works
Oh,
for
we're getting
us.
old.
We are older than in our teens when we first met. But he works for DNR. He's in the Office of Media and Outreach. And so I thought, and David, thank you for doing this. You're in
Sure.
Beaufort,
Glad to.
right? Got you in Beaufort.
Good to be with y'all.
He just is going to enlighten us and tell us a little bit about what's going on that we probably aren't thinking about. So this is my gift to you guys on Friday. Let's think about something other than COVID. So David, tell us what's happening at DNR.
Well, hey, I'll start by taking a page from Rose. And since we're doing headlines, let me give you some hot take headlines. Patrick Walters, who's a professional bass fisherman from Somerville, South the top 25 at the Bassmasters Elite that's going on right now down at Santee Cooper Lakes, going into day 2 of fishing. If you're at all interested in that kind of thing, you can check out their website, which is like wall-to-wall coverage of this thing. Rose, you were telling me yesterday, did you see the, I call it the fishing circus being in town? Did you see all the boats going down I-26 towards Manning and John C. Landing?
I did. They're beautiful rigs too.
It's really amazing. Unfortunately, these tournaments are huge and they have a massive economic impact on the communities where they're held that are around our big lakes. Unfortunately for this one, the crowd and the expo that normally goes along with it, they're doing sort of a COVID version of that. But anyway, great. Patrick Walters, he's a great angler. He fished at USC, which is a thing now. I don't know if you know, a lot of the colleges and even our high schools have bass fishing teams now. Just an amazing, the growth in that tournament fishing thing. And we love it because it gets people interested in the outdoors. You've seen a ton of articles recently with COVID, but even before that, being involved in the outdoors is good for your physical health and it's good for your mental health. And especially in the case of young people, getting involved in outdoors early is how you build conservationists. Young people who get involved in the outdoors, hunting, fishing, hiking, camping, all that kind of stuff, are much more likely to be conservationists later on. And we are blessed in South Carolina in that we have a great, amazing array of natural resources. It's a huge economic driver. It's a big selling point for the state, but it's also just a fantastic amenity for the state citizens. And one of the things that I get to do in my job, which is great, is I get to tell people all about that and encourage people to get out and access and use the natural resources that we have. And we have a lot of different ways of doing that. We've done a lot more in the last 5 years, I'd say, on the digital side. We have a big campaign on our Facebook and Twitter pages running right now about the tournament, and also about the fact that just recently Bassmasters magazine did a top 25 lakes in the United States list, sort of a bucket list. A lot of people like to travel around and top fish for bass at all the top fishing lakes. And they based it not only on tournament records and who caught the biggest fish where, but also on what state agencies like SCDNR are doing to manage those lakes. And I want to tell you, some of the great unsung heroes of state government and this agency are the biologists in our freshwater fisheries sections. Our lakes are just amazing resources, and it's due in large part to the hard work that those people put in all the time managing them. And we've been recognized in a big, big way for that, because Bassmaster magazines decided chose Santee Cooper Lakes as 23, I think, in the top 25 fishing lakes across the United States. Ton of stuff up on our social media feed and our website about that right now. I encourage you all to go read about it. We also got recognized as sort of runner-up category for the Southeast region, Lake Murray, Lake Hartwell, and Lake Thurmond. So we did a lot of stuff on Santee Cooper this past week in the run-up to the tournament. In the coming weeks, we'll be doing a lot of stuff about Murray. We'll be doing a lot of stuff about Hartwell. We'll be doing a lot of stuff about Thurmond. And that includes history of the lake, things that DNR does to manage it, all that kind of stuff. So that's a really neat thing to look at. So we're doing a lot digitally, but I want to talk also a little bit about one of the ways that we sort of serve as an on-ramp and an information source to people about getting into the outdoors is, of course, South Carolina Wildlife Magazine. Before I moved down to the coast to become the public information coordinator for the Lowcountry region, I was the editor of South Carolina Wildlife for about 8 years. We've got a new editor, and we've also got sort of a new look to the magazine. I don't know if you are familiar with it, but it's been in continuous publication since 1954 and is generally considered one of the best of the state wildlife magazines around the United States. Had a very similar look for a long time because we like to keep that tradition alive, and especially a lot of our older readers are a little resistant to change. But we did do an overhaul of the design of the magazine not too long ago. I don't know if you've seen it recently, but it looks very cool. Maybe, I don't know if you can see that painting of that trout on there, but anyway, this was our 65th anniversary issue from last year. And last year and again this year, the magazine was rated by the Association for Conservation Information as the top wildlife magazine in the United States. So that's pretty cool, 2 years running. And that is a big part of our outreach and information effort. We've also, I do a blog, the South Carolina Natural Resources blog, and the main idea of that is Dave tells you about it and tells you how you can get into doing the same stuff, places you can go hike, places you can go fish, places you can go paddle. And so that's been a lot of fun for me because I get to sort of have my own little magazine, only without all the deadlines and pressure, which is really cool. And I also get to go do fun stuff for it when I'm not doing other public information duties. Which is great. We also have the Marine Resources. My colleague at Fort Johnson, our Marine Science Division, does a similar one called the Marine Resources blog. You can find all that stuff on our website, and I can take you through some various pages if we have time for that. I don't know what you want to do in that regard, Rose. I'm just sort of talking right now. So if we need to stop, if people have questions or something,
No, we're good.
feel free to jump right in.
I will. We can get everyone the links there, but does anyone have any questions? And David, you guys are doing great things. It's nice that South Carolina Wildlife is still a print publication that you can hold for some of us who still like to see the beautiful photos and whatnot. But it's also online. Did I understand that right?
And it is, and one thing I'll mention about that, not only, it's not the full magazine, but a selection of the articles from each issue gets posted up on our website, and that's dnr.sc.gov. It's real easy to find. Just when you go to that main page, look for the South Carolina Wildlife Magazine box, you'll see it, and you can click on that, and it gives you sort of a sampling of the article. Got a new thing which is called scwild.com, and that's its own website, and that is sort of a sister publication to South Carolina Wildlife. It's online, it's digital only, and it is aimed at young people, middle school through young college age people, and it's produced by young people. All of the articles are written by young people. The editors of South Carolina Wildlife and some of the other folks in our public information section help them with editing and getting them laid out and all, but the content is all for and by young people. So if you've got a young person in your life, particularly one that's interested in outdoor stuff, get them turned on to scwild.com because it is very cool. If you're interested in careers with DNR or careers in wildlife management or in the outdoors, it is a great resource for young people. In articles about internships, whenever we have interns that work for the agency, we generally have them write something about their summer experience or their season experience, what they did, neat stuff. You'll also see, if you go to the main website, the first thing that will happen is you'll get one of those annoying pop-ups, which we apologize in advance, but this is the best way to get you to sign up for our news update service. We do a huge amount with email. We've probably got close to 100,000 people signed up for various subscriber groups that get regular emails. And so if you go, it'll ask you for your email and you can sign up, and then it'll take you through a list of things. Are you interested in getting information about hunting? Are you interested in getting information about fishing? Are you interested in getting our weather alert updates? All right, the guy always weekly, though he's been pretty weekly during hurricane season. These sort of dry, witty weather updates that are popular with a lot of people. There's even been some newspaper articles written about his weather updates. So you can sign up for weather updates. There's all kinds of things that you can sign up for. You can sign up to get the same news releases that we send to the media outlets in South Carolina. So if you want to stay on top of DNR stuff, that's a good way to do that. Just go to the main page. You'll see the annoying pop-up. Don't ignore it or click or X out of it. Sign up for it. You get all kind of nifty stuff in your email inbox. If you
David,
like.
quick question.
Sure.
And I'll confess, I have followed your weather meteorologist, Mark, whatever his last name is.
Mousick, yeah. Is he not
Mousick, for quite some time. And to my media friends out there, and I know I've got a couple of them out there, his writing is exceptional. He he can really stick it to you without you realizing it till you finish reading it. But his command of the English language is stunning, and I have to admit, I follow weather now differently because of reading his. He's
I always
actually
get I always
very
get a
funny.
chuckle out of his misses, but the other thing you get is you get a really clear-eyed view,
Yep.
particularly in hurricane season, of what's coming up during the what we're getting ready to see in the next week. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
amazing. The way he can marry the two of those things is really amazing.
it's good.
He's
So,
a great writer and a great meteorologist.
yeah, he is. David, a couple of quick questions. We had a question in the chat. Is the online fundraiser still open for bidding?
The
I'm not
online, I
sure
don't know
what
what that is.
online fundraiser that we're talking about. Well, that's okay.
Yeah,
We'll
I'm not either. I'm sorry. I don't know what.
fine. That's okay. But one other point, and then we will. I'm going to punt to a whole nother part for our session today. But you were talking about recruiting younger folks to hunting and fishing and this industry. The SC Wild that you mentioned, is that appropriate, and is that being used in some of the virtual learning for children in their schools, or is it appropriate for that?
I think it could be. I don't know if they have done a rubric for SC Wild content to so that it fits in with the Department of Education guidelines for this, but we do have a lot of other stuff, content on our website that is designed for that.
Okay.
We have, a lot of people don't know, it's kind of like the state climatology office. People don't realize that's part of DNR. We also have an archaeology section because DNR runs the State Heritage Trust Lands program. And some of those lands are environmentally protected. Some of them are protected because they're culturally sensitive. They have archaeological sites on them. We're doing a huge dig right now down at Botany Bay Plantation, WMA, on a barrier island there of an old a shell ring that's actually in danger of being washed away due to ocean rise. So we're kind of beating the clock on that. But a ton of the archaeology section created content is we have an educator on staff with them, and it's specifically designed to meet rubrics for mathematics, for science, for English, for history, and that kind of stuff. A lot of great resources for teachers on the DNR website for various programs. But SC Wild, I don't know. I'd have to look. I'm not sure if
Okay.
they have specific like class assignment type rubrics, but just the information, particularly the career information, is really good.
Good. Well, David, that's a lot of information. I know your passion for the work you do, and I respect and appreciate that. And I hope that the folks on the call got just a little insight to something different today. So one quick question, and then I'm going to move this into something totally different. We'll keep it shake it up a little bit for folks. But oyster season.
Oh, right, sure.
Are we in oyster season yet?
We are. Recreational oyster harvesting came in August the 1st, which is,
Okay.
or excuse me, October the 1st, which is great. Got months with R in them. So you'll be soon, not only during the winter months, you will see more commercially harvested oysters coming out of South Carolina waters, and also mariculture produced oysters, which is increasingly a big thing on the coast of South Carolina. But you yourself can go, there are state oyster beds, state oyster grounds that are set aside for recreational harvest for just you to go out with your bucket and your old golf club or shovel or whatever you have to get them. And you can get 2 buckets, I think, per person is the limit, and have an oyster roast in your backyard, which is a great thing. Same thing, the maps and information that you need to do that is all available on our website. We just did a press release about the recreational harvest opening. So if you go to that press release, which is the main page, and then look for news updates, you'll see a person holding a big oyster in one of the first photographs, and that'll give you a link to where you find those maps about where you can go to harvest your own oysters if you're on the coast, if you live there, if you're on vacation.
Okay,
Great,
David, one last question. Hey, Lynn, and then we'll move over. Thanks for this question. Lynn Hutto, she worked for Land Resources years ago, and they carried aerial and other maps. Do you allow the public to come in and buy maps?
We don't have as big a mapping project as they did back in the day when land and water were up on Divine Street. Old time Columbians will remember this is DNR became Department of Natural Resources, and land and water commissions were brought into it. We do provide some maps. We have our earth sciences folks that are out at Broad River Road do a lot of mapping. We do a lot of GIS work. We don't have the number of map products available for sale that we did. But if you go on the DNR website, you can Google search for mapping, or if you just look at the land, water, and conservation and sort of follow the links to the geology section, you'll find information about the map products that we do have available.
Fantastic. Good information. David, thanks. It was great to reconnect. I, for one, will subscribe to SC Wildlife when I get off this call. It's a beautiful magazine. So
everyone should do it and buy it as a gift for someone else.
There you go. It's the best $20, I think, 18 maybe. It might even be $18 that you'll spend. So, okay, David, thank you again. And if anyone wants any other information, let me know, and I can put you in touch with David. He'd be happy to help.
Call me anytime.
Thank you, David. We're going to move to Main Street now. We've got just a few more minutes, and I'm respect your time to get you out of here. You probably see somewhere on your screen some folks moving, but we have a golf simulator tournament coming up on Tuesday. So we've had several people go, what the heck is a golf simulator? What exactly does that mean? And then we say Top Golf, and people go, well, yeah, I don't really get that either. So we have, trying to see who all's on there. We have Anna from our team, Hillary from our team, and then the golf pro at the main course over on Main Street. So I am going to let them share the screen and let you all see a few putts for a few minutes, and then we're going to call it a wrap. So Hillary, I see you all are masked up. I'm quite impressed, but y'all are on.
Hi, so I'm Hillary. I'm our events coordinator with the Columbia Chamber. I'm so happy that y'all joined us this morning over at Main Course. I've got Chelsea here and Scott are the resident golf pro here at the Main Course. We just want to give you a quick tour and a quick visual of what to expect for our tournament on Tuesday. So we are standing here at the state-of-the-art virtual putting green. I'm going to let Scott share a little bit and give a demonstration, and then we'll walk down and let you see a little bit more of the space.
Sure. Good morning, everybody. So this is our virtual putting green. This is a very new technology we're fortunate to have here. It's a great training tool. I'll give you just a 1-2 on how the software works, but the idea behind the virtual green is you can actually adjust the slope of the green. If you look down, as right now I've got it as a flat putt. If I wanted to practice right to left strokes or left to right, I go to my screen here, I can change that slope rate up to 4% in any direction. And what you'll see is it's going to give you an actual projected line on the screen as well. And so the screen does actually morph. We've got 58 actuators built in underneath. From a training standpoint, this is a fantastic tool. I've got it set up right now on just a simple ladder drill. So I would go through 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, all the way back to 10. There's stuff such as clock drills. There's some additional games like mazes and putt pong. So just a really cool piece that we have. I think we're going to walk over to the simulator. So I'm going to show you kind of what we're going to be working with on Tuesday. So bear with me for just 1 second.
And while Scott's getting set up, this is the new Players Club that the Main Course has up here. So we'll have some of you playing up here for our tournament. As you can see, it's a giant screen, and it's going to be pretty secure as far as your team. So it is very COVID safe. You bring your 4 people, you're up here golfing and having a great time. And Scott's going to give us a demonstration of what the actual golf tournament will look like.
Sure. So the simulators themselves have a bunch of capability. We have 3 different golf platforms that we operate on. One of them being E6, which is what you guys will be utilizing on Tuesday. It has over 85 courses, some of the best courses in the world. The format's going to be a 9-hole captain's choice. I think so far we've got a really good turnout, so we're excited to have you and host. Just a quick 1-2 on the software again. You do have a bunch of different options here. We're going to obviously be playing, but what's been most common with our members is it does have a fantastic built-in range, gives you stats such as launch angle, ball speed, club speed, total distance, and it's all gauged by this Ion 3 camera up here. We've been pretty blessed so far. Full Swing, who provides our simulators, is the #1 simulator in the world and also sponsored by the PGA Tour. So We've got 4 full swing simulators here in the Players Club. Additionally, the virtual putting green. And if you turn around, there's some other stuff other than golf here for those that aren't interested. We've got some sim range games, which is a virtual shooting, anything from boar hunting, duck hunting, pheasant hunting, bear hunting. So I know we're strapped for time today, but I highly encourage you guys come in and check it out. And once again, we look forward to seeing you guys all on Tuesday. So cool.
We'll kick it back over to you, Rose.
All right, Hillary, thanks so much. If you didn't get dizzy, folks, with that, I hope you saw something that's kind of exciting and new. That's Scott Middleton's property, the main course, and right across the street's bowling at the Grand. So we have just a couple of minutes left. I know I talked a lot and shared a lot today, but let me open it up and make sure before we check out of here that no one has any questions or any news they need to share for the week. Give everybody 1 second to unmute if there's any news that you want to share or ask.
I can give you a little update on tonight's senatorial debate. As you know, yesterday, Jamie Harrison asked Lindsey Graham to take a COVID test, and Lindsey doesn't want to. So there's a question whether the debate is going to happen or not. The 3 scenarios I've heard this morning, because WLTX will air the debate, they'll either agree to do it as planned, or it'll be cut in half. There'll be 30 minutes with Jamie, 30 minutes with Lindsey, or just 30 minutes with one. So we should know by noon.
Wow, thanks, Rich. We appreciate that. And what time, if that happens tonight, is that scheduled to happen?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock? Okay, fantastic. Watch your news for that.
On ATV?
Or LTX. LTX will be covering that. So anybody else?
Everybody cheer for Patrick Walters in the Bassmasters Elite Tournament at Santee Cooper. He can
There you go.
He can do it.
The Gamecocks, the Tigers, and Bassmasters. All we're missing right now is NASCAR. So we'll bring that to you at some point. All right, folks. It's almost 9:30. Let's call this a wrap. Thank you. It was a privilege to spend this time with you. We'll have Carl back next week, and we'll just see where we're at then. So have a great, safe weekend. Bye-bye.